Hey there, welcome to this episode. In this episode, we're going to answer the question, how do I stop being distracted with the world we live in, which I believe is the most distracted world we've ever lived in, with constant bombardment of advertising and social media and constant demands on our attention. How do we stop being distracted and therefore focus on the things that matter and get more results? That's what we're going to answer. That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Welcome to episode 15 of the Accelerated Achievement Show. Very excited to talk about this topic. A lot of my study has been in this area of focus, meaning how do you accelerate your productivity? How do you boost your output? How do you get more shit done? That's essentially what we all want to do. We all want to achieve more, and not just work, but how do we fit more in? How do we live our life in a way where we're actually getting more done? Not just work again, but how do you get more fulfillment and happiness out of your life? And it's all about this ability to essentially prioritize our time to do the things that matter to us most. But how do you eliminate distractions? Because once again, distractions are everywhere nowadays. You can't look. There's a great quote, and it was towards the end of the movie, and it was asked two people, hey, where can you not expect to be advertised to? And another person said, when you're sleeping. Because advertisements everywhere, social media, constant bombardment. People can scroll through Facebook for days, or what it seems like. Because how do you stop being distracted with notifications? The world we live in, the distracted world, how do you not be distracted? I want to give you some actionable tools and strategies in this episode as we talk here, for you to stop being distracted and for us to stop being distracted and have more focus in our life. Firstly, a lot of people approach this, they approach, hey, or ask me, hey, how do I stop being distracted? How do I have less distraction? Which I believe is the wrong approach to start with, because it's all about the questions we ask in our lives, and I believe that's the wrong question. Hence, first it starts with reframing that to, how can I build more focus into my life? Now, let me explain. It's like when people go on a diet. The reason most diets fail, or one of the reasons, is because they take that diet and they say to themselves, hey, I can't eat this, and I can't eat this, and I can't eat this. They're not focused on what they can eat that's good. They're focused on, I can't eat this, I can't eat that chocolate bar, I can't eat that chicken, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, and their whole mind is, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, and they spend days like this, and then eventually they quit. No wonder they quit, because they're constantly focused on what they can't have. They're constantly bombarding themselves with that. And when you keep asking yourself, how can I avoid distractions? How can I have less distractions? How can I not be distracted? It's the same thing. Hence, just like if a dieter, one of the biggest things I'd say to people, hey, when they ask me, hey, how can I change my diet? My answer to them first is stop focusing on the things you can't have and focus and acknowledge and appreciate the things you can have. Because once you do that, that's what shifted it for me. When I stopped focusing on the things I can't have and I started focusing on the things I can, when I was shifting my dieting, shifting how I ate, shifting how I appreciated my health and how I dealt with my health, that was my focus. I started focusing on all the things I can have, how tasty each salad is and each smoothie, and appreciating that. That's where it starts with, and that helps. Because once again, you need to know where you're heading. You need to know the target. So that's the first thing. So how can you build more focus into your life and avoid those distractions? How can you build more focus? And I'll give you some strategies. First, it starts with self-awareness. Starts with self-appreciation, self-consciousness of where you're getting distracted. There's a lot of great apps nowadays where a lot of people are shocked when they use them. They see these apps. There's apps that essentially monitor how you spend your day on the internet, what browsers you spend time on, how much time you spend on each website. There'll be a link below this for some apps if you want to check out those. But those are some of the tactics. And once people observe them, how they spend the energy on the internet, how they spend their time on the internet, they're shocked. They're like, whoa, I didn't realize I spent 2.5 hours on Facebook watching cat videos. I didn't realize I spent this much time on Twitter following this person. I don't really care about this person, but I just followed them, or whatever it is for them. Then they can get that awareness. And again, all change starts with awareness. If you don't know what the problem is, you don't know where you're getting distracted, It's very tough to change that. Hence it starts with, okay, start making a list. Every time you get distracted or you think that you get distracted, bring that to your attention. Make a list. Start tracking down all the times that you did get distracted. And once you start tracking it, once you begin being conscious of it, once you examine that problem, that's what you want to call it, then you can start changing it. So that's step number one. That's how you first create that awareness in yourself. Second thing, how do you build more focus in your life? Firstly, it's about structuring focus into your schedule. Again, with the dieting, the way to change your diet, this is a side benefit. The way to change your diet isn't to remove things. That's a mistake a lot of people make, or that's a lot of mistake that a lot of us as humanity think that that's how we get rid of things in our diet. We say no chocolate, we say no this. Well, the way to actually build it in, a more effective health tip, is to actually live just like you do, eat like you normally do, but build more things in. Meaning, build in daily smoothies or daily juicing, and then a salad for lunch, and build more of that in. Keep building that in, and then as a matter of time, it will naturally evaporate. It's like you may have saw a video on YouTube somewhere that goes, there's a glass of Coke, and they start pouring water into that glass of Coke. And eventually, if you just keep pouring water, the glass starts overfilling. If you keep pouring water in, eventually the glass is just filled with 100% water. So again, adding the stuff in instead of eliminating. It's far more focused, effective strategy. So how do you build more focus in? Firstly, first tip I share a lot with coaching clients, when I coach them all around the world, when I travel on stage, so when people ask questions, how do you structure it in? You start small, and you consciously put yourself in a state of focus. I call it hour-long focus blocks, because there's a movie, The Social Network. The movie about Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, which is maybe the place you're actually watching this episode. And if you are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching this, make sure you like it. Make sure you share this with other people if you think that they'll find it useful. So if you're watching this right now, share it below, share it on your timeline, share it with other people to help share this out so we can all step up into greater consciousness. Plus, you'll let me know that you're enjoying this stuff, and I can keep making more videos like this and answering your questions. So make sure you share that. And if you have any specific questions, make sure you comment that below so I know that. Therefore, I can give you some strategies maybe I've been able to observe by traveling all around the world, speaking on stages across 3 different continents, writing books, all of this stuff. Maybe I've got some insight to share, but maybe. So like that below, share that out. So how do you build that focus in? There was in the movie, The Social Network by Mark Zuckerberg. There was a great clip, and I talk about this a lot, great clip in that movie where the early Facebook employees, people would come into the offices, or at the time it was a house, and these employees, these Facebook employees, they had these big headphones on, and they started coding. They were coding for a long period of time in this complete focus. And when people attempted to approach them, Mark Zuckerberg and the team, they would say, hey, they're wired. That was their term for it, they're wired. Meaning complete focus, meaning no toleration of distractions. And when you get to a point where you stop tolerating distractions, even for specific periods of time during a day, that's when you could build more focus in. So how can you apply this into your life? Here's the actionable strategies. Here's how I structure focus into my day. You take one thing that you want to work on, because the very art of no distractions is that you have focus, and you can't focus on 8 things at the same time. If you think you're focusing on 8 things at the same time, you're not focusing on anything, because that's not focus. Focus is blocking out all the other distractions and focusing on something. So for 1 hour, just start small. Start with 25 minutes or an hour. It's a block. It's focus block. That's what I call it. That's what I've titled it over the years. A focus block. Meaning during that 25 minutes or 1 hour, you go and you pick one thing that you want to do, one purpose. You define one purpose for that thing. Let's say for this next hour, I'm working on my social media for my business. Or during that hour, I'm working out in a gym, I'm working out. Or during that 1 hour, I'm finishing this book that I've wanted to write for ages, or I'm finishing this chapter, or I'm invoicing, or I'm doing all of these things, but focus on one thing. One thing for one period of time. You can pick 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever the time is that works for you. I believe in the individualism of humanity, how we all have different things that work for us. And it's about figuring out what drives us, what motivates us, and what works for us. Taking the general success principles, the tools that work, but then applying them and integrating them into our lives. So you pick one thing that you're focusing on, then you pick just one period of time. So let's say an hour. You pick one thing for 1 hour and then you get to work and you block out distractions. So before that, I tell the people around me, whether it's friends or colleagues or customers or whatever it is, I tell them around me, hey, I'm gonna be working during this time, so please just let me know afterwards if you have any questions, because I'm gonna be focused for an hour here. So you go in for 1 hour, you focus on one thing, then you work and you just get that one thing done. So that 1 hour, I put headphones on, play music, block myself out from the world, go completely uncontactable, and then build that in. But it comes from the understanding that focus is a muscle. If focus is something that you can train, and the more you're focused, the more you're gonna be able to be focused. A lot of people think that it's gonna shift overnight. They're gonna shift from someone who has like a 2-second attention span, constantly Facebook, Twitter, all these things, switching between that, to magically being this monk that can go and be focused on their meditation for 6 hours straight. It's not gonna happen overnight. There is no overnight success, or there is no overnight focus. It's something that you develop over time. Hence, you're not gonna get rid of all your distractions tomorrow, even if you want to. It's about building that in over time, and over time, you'll pour that water into that glass and you'll remove what you don't want, that Coke, out of that glass, and you'll replace it with that water, with that focus that's going to get you the result you want. Whatever area of your life it is, whether it's your health, whether it's your wealth, your financial well-being, whether it's your love, your friendships, relationships around you, whether it's your fulfillment, how you spend your time on this planet, whatever it is, you'll build that in, because studies show us that distractions, when you're distracted, it's like you're high. Now, you heard that correctly. If you're watching this, you heard that correctly. That wasn't me mispronouncing anything. It's like you're high. Studies showed, there was a great study done, and it showed how if someone's distracted, their IQ almost like, it seems like it drops 10%. 10%. You may think that's not a lot, but then they did that same study and they took people that were high, baked out of their mind. And when they took those people, their IQ only dropped by 5%. It means when you're distracted, you're twice as high. But maybe you know that, whether it's not that study, but you know that at some level, when you're distracted, you're not optimally being productive. You're not being the best. You're not doing the best work you can do. Hence, how do you bring this in? So, what we talked about, tracking, become self-aware. Secondly, structuring focus in instead of removing distractions. Shifting your focus, shifting what you're paying attention to. So building that in. Then those hour-long focus blocks. Pick one thing, and then build that in. Next thing we talked about, training. It's a muscle, meaning over time, you keep building your focus. Every time that you want to be distracted, but you say, stop, no, I'm going to be focused instead. Every time you make that decision, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you're developing your focus and you can be more focused. The more focused that you are, the more you can be focused. Focused. But you get the point. You can be more focused. Hence, it's that developing that muscle. So, self-awareness, tracking, building that focus in and training that muscle that you have. And the more you train that muscle, the more distractions will fade away naturally. It's like if you're on the diet and every day you have smoothies in the morning, that's like a religious habit for you, and you have salads for lunch and you have all of this, it leaves no time to eat chocolate and snacks and all of these things and burgers and McDonald's and KFC. It leaves no time. Hence, structuring focus in, and you won't leave any time for distractions. But understand, we're always going to be distracted sometime, because there's people whose entire job, people like me, as marketers, people who run businesses, our entire job is to get you distracted. Hence, realize that no matter how focused you'll always be distracted sometimes, so be compassionate with that and then bring yourself back to focus. Hence, set up an environment for yourself which helps you bring back focus when you do get distracted. But again, it's about improvement, constantly improving that focus. How much time? So self-awareness, tracking, training as a muscle. Realize you will get distracted at some time, and then be compassionate with that and keep developing that. So if you came into watching this And by the way, make sure you like this, make sure you share this out. Let me know that you love this stuff so I can keep making more episodes like this, and at the same time share it out with people because maybe this will help them. I want to be able to share this message so we can all step up into greater consciousness of what's distracting us, and we can all spend less time doing the things we don't want to do and spend more time doing the things we do, because that's what we're going to really pay attention to 10, 20, 50 years from now. We're going to not look at the stuff that, hey, I did that, but I regret that. We're gonna pay attention to stuff that we did do, that we loved, that brought us fulfillment. Hence, how do we bring more of that in our lives? So make sure you like this and share this if you're enjoying this, if you find this useful. But also, if you came in here, ask yourself, hey, how do I be less distracted? How do I eliminate distraction from my life? Firstly, understand getting better, but you may be distracted at some points, hence comes compassion. Secondly, self-awareness. Bringing that to your attention. Start tracking. There'll be apps below. I'll share some links if I can find them. But bringing that to your attention so you're conscious of when you're getting distracted. Next thing was we talked about these focus blocks. Build focus into your schedule. Build that in. So for 1 hour, test this out right after you watch this video. For 1 hour or for 10 minutes even, focus on just one thing. Tell everyone around you, hey, I'm not going to be uncontactable. Turn off social media, turn off your phone during those 10 minutes or that 1 hour, and work on just one thing. Be focused on that, and that's going to build a habit, because focus is a habit. Focus is a trainable skill. It's something that you train. Hence, start training your focus muscle, because now that you're aware of that, you can start training it. Like you train your muscles at the gym, you can start training your focus muscle. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Accelerated Achievement Show. Will give you strategies to accelerate how quickly you go and achieve the things that you want to achieve in your life. Whatever it is for you, how do you achieve those things faster? I give you strategies and tools. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like it and share it down below so other people can benefit from it as well. And also, make sure you stay tuned for more episodes of the Accelerated Achievement Show, helping you accelerate your achievement.
Achievement accelerated with the Accelerated Achievement Show.